50 Cent says he gave the BMF family $5 million legal dollars, so he does not understand where the money went, how Lil Meech blew it before Big Meech got out of jail, but he feels extremely betrayed after that picture got taken between Big Meech and Rick Ross after he got out of jail.
I looked at it like, from that point, maybe 50 should have brung a bag for Meech and maybe a watch or something. Because obviously that's what Ross did or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I had in mind.
But look, 50, boy, I see you struggling making that G-Unit film studio out there in Louisiana where that cheapest land at. You thought you was gonna be able to do it. You thought you was gonna be able to get them loans, and it ain't. What's wrong? What's taking so long?
Lil Meech didn't just turn his back on 50 Cent, he allegedly pulled a $10 million move behind his back, and did it with 50's biggest rival in the game. After everything 50 did for him, mentoring him, looking out for him, even covering the cost of his rehab, this came like a slap in the face. And now, Rick Ross is in the mix, messy texts are getting leaked, and things are about to get real ugly. 50 ain't got a smooth path ahead, he's gonna have to take it to the streets the hard way. But let's rewind for a second. Before the betrayal, there was the bag. And 50? He handed it over with trust.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better shut up. I will buy your masters.
When 50 Cent handpicked Demetrius Lil Mac Flannery Jr. to play his own father, Big Meech, in the BMF series on Starz, it wasn't just a role. It was a full-blown life upgrade. Lil Meech wasn't on Hollywood's radar. He wasn't acting. He was just chasing a rap dream. But 50 saw potential nobody else did. He didn't just give him a shot. He dropped real money on him, sent him to acting school for 2 years, paid out of his own pocket, turned that kid into a star from scratch. And even that wasn't where it ended. Behind closed doors, 50 was making sure the family had real support. He claims he helped them lock in over $5 million in clean, legal money, the type you can build a real future with. This wasn't some one-season favor. 50 had a whole empire mapped out. Spin-offs, movies, years of stories lined up. If things stayed solid, the BMF brand could have pulled in 30 to 50 million. Legit. For a family whose name used to ring out in the streets, this was the golden ticket, the one that could have made everything clean.
50. Boy, I see you struggling making that G-Unit film studio out there in Louisiana where that cheapest land at. You thought you was gonna be able to do it. You thought you was gonna be able to get them loans, and it ain't. What's wrong? What's taking so long? I know you want to make your mama one of them walking stars thing put down there. Your mama live, her own walking star.
But now, it's all twisted.
We call it renderings. You had the renderings, then you try to go get them loans, and ain't nobody loan you that money. You ain't even built the G-Unit studio yet. That might be why when I stood next to Meech, your knees buckled. Your knees buckled. Put your back against the wall. You're hustler.
While Big Meech sat behind bars watching it all unfold, his son was blowing up. His name was back in lights, but this time on prime time. And the man behind that spotlight, not a homie from the streets, not some industry plug. It was a straight-up mogul, 50 Cent. He kept the BMF legacy alive, turned it into a brand regular folks knew, and set up the next generation to cash in big. But here's the wild part. 50 did all that and didn't even brag about it. For years, he stayed low-key, never demanding praise, never showing off the stacks he poured into the vision. He moved like a real boss. Until now, because things just took a turn. And folks are starting to ask, why is 50 so pressed over some missing money?
I'm bosses, and today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, you're a business owner, entrepreneur, wherever you got, I'm trying to make it go up. Hit me right now.
Well, the streets got theories, and the loudest one, 50 wasn't just throwing cash around, he was betting on a major come-up. Even Rick Ross couldn't help but take a jab, acting like 50's sweating that bag. But the real twist hit in October, when Big Meech walked out of prison. One of the biggest names to ever run the streets was finally free, and the hype was unreal. Everyone expected a major reunion, 50 and Meech back together, cameras flashing, maybe even a new docu-series straight from the source. The real Big Meech telling his story with 50 backing it, that would have been legendary. But what really happened? It flipped the whole script. Big Meech didn't roll out with 50. He showed up linked with Rick Ross. Yeah, that Rick Ross, the one who's been beefing with 50 for over 10 years, total curveball. And 50 definitely didn't see it coming. And this wasn't no casual link-up at an industry event. It was a full-on rollout. Car shows, concert appearances, full promo runs. Big Meech hit the gram cheesing next to Rick Ross like they were day one bros. No tag for 50, no thank you, no nod, nothing. Straight up silence. And that silence, it screamed louder than words. This wasn't just betrayal, it felt personal. It was disrespect, and it looked calculated. 50 stayed quiet at first, but if you know him, you know what that means. He wasn't done, he was just reloading. Because behind all the flashy posts and reunions, a real question was brewing. Where'd the money go? Because it sure ain't in the family's bank accounts. 50 claimed he lined up over $5 million in clean money for the family, paper that came from the show. Legit. And then he aired it all out online. He posted, "Why old boy ain't look out for me? I'm the one who sent him to acting school." Then he took shots at Meech's people too. "Big Screech, all your folks who were out here did nothing for him. You come home thinking you the Black Pablo Escobar and gas him up."
Sitting in the backyard and you like, yo, little baby ain't give me no money. He came in the Ferrari truck. He had the Ferrari truck. He had 4 pockets full. I'm looking at this nigga like, yo, this nigga tripping. Like, little baby he's not obligated to give you nothing.
50 kept going, saying, "I helped your family make over $5 million legit dollars. It's not my fault it's all gone. You want to shine so bad you out here wearing the baby's jewelry. Give the baby back his jewelry."
He was with 50. He's talking about stuff in the future. He made your family money. You know, you would think you would be a little bit appreciative, but motherfuckers don't have to be loyal to 50 in business. I guess that's how Meech felt, because he's his own boss. You know, but when you take little Meech and you put him in acting school, you know, you take him from Detroit. I remember him rapping when he was rapping and nobody was helping him from what I seen. Because I remember when Lil Meech was rapping. Nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting school, kept it on the low, and he made all this money. You understand what I'm saying? But to be young and have money?
Yup, he was talking wild. And according to him, Big Meech was broke. And Lil Meech, he wasn't doing much better. Word is, he's out here charging $500 for promo videos just to get by. And 50? He lived for the moment. He clowned them right on Instagram, posting, "Big Screech, got Meech doing promos, $500 a pop. Get you one while it lasts." But that wasn't even the punchline. 50 wasn't close to done. Next thing you know, boom, he drops a whole GoFundMe. Yeah, a GoFundMe. For who? Big Meech. Now let's be honest. There's like a 90% chance 50 made it himself just to troll. That's exactly the kind of chaos he thrives on. Doesn't matter who created the GoFundMe, once 50 Cent posted it, the internet exploded. The page flat out claimed Big Meech needed help covering his bills, and not just any bills. We're talking a $30,000 a month Airbnb. And of course, 50 added his signature spice in the caption, "Help Big Screech pay his $30,000 a month Airbnb. That's one of P's cribs. Shout out to quality control." Savage! And guess what? 50 wasn't done stirring the pot. Next, he spun the block and pulled 42 Doug into the mix. Yup, he exposed a private convo saying Doug gave Big Meech $100K and got nothing back but regret. 50 posted, "Your daddy, my ninja, you made a mistake giving Screech $100,000. You could have blessed your own crew with that. You always been hard-headed." And Doug, he wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back immediately on Instagram, standing firm for Meech and the D. "Can't no ninja convince me to go against Detroit either. Show me Big Bra a rat or shut the F up talking to me."
Say that was like a bad management move, but from the streets, they're gonna do what they want to do. And 50's crazy. Know that, y'all. 50's crazy. So, and then on Meech, and I look at that was bad management too, because we just was over there. We just took a picture with you at your house. But I felt like when we left there, it was a money thing, because what Lil Meech said about the Ferrari.
So how did Big Meech, one of the most notorious kingpins, with a whole hit show about his life, end up looking like he's struggling to pay rent? Tony Yayo dropped a clue. In an interview, he said that after Meech got out, he was literally hitting up Lil Baby for help, asking for cash, even complaining that his own son wasn't supporting him like that. And speaking of Lil Meech, He's not making the situation look any better. According to Yayo, dude is burning through money like it's on fire, dropping $100K on Chrome Hearts jeans, blowing $500,000 on a BMF chain, flexing with designer denim and iced out Richard Mille watches. Meanwhile, his dad's out here looking for rent help. Then, get this, Lil Meech had the audacity to get salty when 50 unfollowed him. Like, what did you expect? It was giving broke behavior with a rich man's budget. Yayo didn't sugarcoat it either. He let it all out. Word on the street? 50 wasn't even mad they blew the money. He was mad they blew it stupidly. No game plan, no smart moves, no stacking for the future. Just reckless flexing with nothing to show for it. And just when it looked like 50 had fired off his last shot at Lil Meech, he went full final boss mode. Rumors started flying that 50 Cent bought the actual halfway house that Big Meech is legally required to live in. Let that sink in. Big Meech, the man who once ran a billion-dollar street empire and had rappers, athletes, and politicians whispering his name with respect, now allegedly has to pay rent to 50 Cent? You can't make this up. And 50, of course he didn't keep it low. In true 50 fashion, he cracked a grin in an interview and said, "Business is business." Then he turned up the savage and added, "I'm putting that ninja on toilet duty, cleaning up felonish all day." So technically, Meech might be out of the feds, but if this is true, he's far from free. And the fans? They went wild.
But if 50 Cent gives your family, $5 million in cash, whether it's through acting, I think he was paying for acting lessons for Lil Meech, you gotta have some appreciation. And before more details unfolded, like $5 million, because people were like, oh, 50 Cent doesn't pay people, he's always suing people. Look how he paid Ghost from Power less than Mary J. Blige on Power Book. But if Lil Meech got $5 million and he's nobody except the son of somebody famous, then he definitely could have treaded carefully with this Rick Ross.
One person said, 50 is a real savage and always stands on business. Nothing but respect. This is the greatest burn I've ever heard. Another said, 50 makes my whole month with stuff like this. But not everyone's buying into the hype. Some folks are calling cap, saying this is just peak 50 trolling like he always does. One commenter said, this whole story is straight up BS. No way this man's even in a halfway house. So now the question is, what's real and what's just another troll move from the king of chaos himself? But then again, we are talking about 50 Cent, the king of trolling with deep pockets and even deeper grudges. If anyone's petty enough to pull off wild stunts just to make a point, it's him. And the way this saga's playing out, it's like watching a soap opera with fists and flexes. Meanwhile, Lil Meech made it loud and clear where he stands. He jumped on IG and posted, "Before I asked God for anything, I made sure I asked him to bring my father home to my family. My prayers were answered. I love you, Dad. Death before dishonor."
As we know, Meech didn't actually leave for the halfway house. He's on home confinement because of the First Step Act and winning his 821 motion in federal court. After spending nearly 20 years in federal prison, Demetrius Big Meech Flannery left the federal prison in Coleman, Florida, Coleman Low, on October 15th for home confinement. Now, before you say I don't know what I'm talking about, it says right here that he's in the RRM in Miami. He's actually on home confinement. It says RRM because the RRM, or the halfway house, or really the re-entry manager, is administering his home confinement in Miami through the halfway house that's owned by Dismiss Charity.
That last part, that was a warning shot. He wasn't playing middleman anymore. Lil Meech declared full loyalty to Big Meech Sr. No more riding both sides. It was blood over business, no questions asked. And that's where things got even messier. Because now, it looked like Meech and Ross were trying to flip the BMF name for their own come-up. Rick Ross, the same dude who never lifted a finger to keep the brand alive when it was fading, suddenly had his hands all over it. When your op turns into your family's new best friend, that's when it cuts deep. Ross didn't waste a second. As soon as Big Meech came home, he swooped in like a snake in designer shades, started throwing around welcome home concert plans, had Meech co-signing the whole thing, and dropped promo like it was the second coming. But let's be real, this wasn't about celebrating Meech, this was about power. Ross saw an opening, threw Meech a lil check, played the good guy, and used him as a pawn in a bigger game. This wasn't love. It was all business. And 50? He saw right through it. And just when 50 thought it couldn't get worse, another name popped up. Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, him. You remember the history. They don't rock with each other at all. So when Lil Meech showed up at Lucky Strike Miami, chillin' with Floyd and Rick Ross at the same time, that hit 50 where it hurt the most. It wasn't just loyalty, it was betrayal in surround sound. But wait, it didn't stop there. Lil Meech wasn't just hanging around for vibes, he pulled up with merch. He dropped an exclusive release from his Red Letters XX Once collab and even gifted pieces to Floyd Mayweather, like it was all love. And just when things couldn't get more awkward, Big Meech himself popped in with a surprise cameo over the phone. He was on speaker, chatting it up with Ross and Floyd like they were long-lost cousins. Then Floyd went all in, took Lil Meech car shopping. And after that, they hit the jewelry store too, flexing hard like everything was sweet. To top it all off, the trio showed up courtside at a Lakers game, just chilling in LA like some unstoppable power circle. But you already know, 50 doesn't play about loyalty. And seeing Lil Meech rocking with two of his biggest enemies, that was the last straw. He didn't stay quiet either. 50 jumped online, quick to clown the whole scene. He posted a clip of Meech with Ross and joked, "You tell your pops I'm a lookout. What's the address? I'm sending some wings over there." Petty? Absolutely. But classic 50. Of course, he deleted it shortly after, like he always does when things start heating up too much. But this wasn't just trolling for laughs. This one hit deep. 50 didn't just help Lil Meech land a role. He might have saved his whole life. According to 50, things behind the scenes weren't pretty. He wrote, "I thought about it. I think he was uncomfortable with me and Mimi's relationship. I'm telling Mimi I don't want him doing doctor. He's telling him he used to do X, like it's cool. I tell Mimi chill, stop spending all your money. He telling him how much money he blew. People don't know. I had to send Mimi to rehab." And it didn't stop there. 50 got real messy, saying Lil Meech showed up on set so high the whole crew noticed. Even actor Russell Hornsby was peeping it. The red flags weren't just flying, they were on fire. He was high out of his mind on set. 50 said Lil Meech started throwing up during a weapons test, and that's when things really got sketchy. Ian, part of the team, told 50 the little ninjas had whippets in the truck. 50 was like, "What the hell is whippets?" Turns out, it's that gas stuff used in baby guns. People huff it to get faded fast. And just to drive the point home, 50 posted a video of Gene Deal co-signing all of it, backing up the claims about Meech's wild behavior on set. But here's the kicker. 50 says he didn't blast any of this at first. He handled it quietly. He paid for everything, even sent Meech to rehab behind the scenes. No press, no clout chasing. He was protecting him. But once that loyalty disappeared, so did 50's silence. And when 50 realized he wasn't just betrayed by Meech, but by the whole family, he snapped. Back on Instagram, he fired off another shot, and this one came with receipts. He posted a photo of Tammy Cowens. Yeah, that Tammy, Big Meech's former business partner. Along with it, 50 dropped a text convo between him and Tammy, where he straight up asks, "Did Meech know you were allegedly snitching while he was locked up?" Her reply, "Yep." Then he threw up a caption, "Tammy Cowens. The truth and nothing but the truth. Coming soon." Boom.
Floyd said, "Yeah, Nelly 50." I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance. Said that nigga.
But he didn't stop there. He attached those texts to a carousel of BMF stills, except something was off. Lil Meech's face blurred out in every pic, like literally scribbled over his own lead actor's face, like a bitter ex deleting their memories. If that's not peak 50 Cent, what is? And in case fans thought that was the end of it, nope. He followed up with more now deleted IG posts. Every time you thought 50 was done, he hit post again. Then came the text messages. 50 dropped receipts straight from Lil Meech himself. In the messages, Meech Jr. was begging for forgiveness, sounding shook. He wrote, "They just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram. Now you mad at me? Man, I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only shown love and loyalty. I'm human. I go through my own stuff, but I never switched up on you."
Thinking of dude gonna do right by him and give him a bag and help him out and stuff like that, and he end up being in the same spot and probably worse right now. Because just say this, man. Just say if he would have held his head with 50 now, right? I don't know if 50 would have fucked with him, but 50 would have been like, "Yo, Tammy, leave that alone, ma. Don't put that on that dude." You know what I'm saying? And 50 wouldn't have been behind it. The only reason this shit grew the way it grew against Meech is because 50 was behind it.
But then he low-key threw his own father under the bus. He said, "Ross? He just gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet got me twisted. You know me in real life." But for 50, That was too little, too late. He fired back with one cold line. "What next season, little ninja?" That line hit hard. Fans instantly took it as a sign. BMF might be done. And if that's true, so might Lil Meech's whole TV career. Because 50's made one thing clear: you can't make money with someone you don't trust. And Big Meech? He already made it clear where his loyalty lies. But what if this whole situation wasn't just betrayal? What if Big Meech is sabotaging his own son? Yeah, it sounds wild, but that theory's picking up steam. And when you break it down, it's not as far-fetched as it seems. At first glance, it looked like your usual industry fallout. 50 being petty, Ross playing dirty, Big Meech just chasing that post-prison bag. But zoom out. This doesn't look like a label beef anymore. It's starting to feel like a father versus son war dressed up as a brand battle. Some fans are saying Big Meech is moving from jealousy, not just business moves. And if that's true, this whole thing hits way deeper than just money or fame. That unhealed parent energy hits different, the kind where your own child's success feels like your loss. Instead of standing tall with pride, you feel replaced. And when that happens, you start lashing out. Burning bridges your kid still needs to walk across. That's the real tragedy here. This could have been a powerful redemption story, a father and son turning a street legacy into an empire. But now, it's starting to look like the fall of a dynasty. And Big Meech came home, and instead of standing beside the son who kept his name alive, he tried to outshine him. And in doing so, he might have dimmed both their futures. With 50 out the picture, BMF is barely holding on. Starz hasn't confirmed another season, and 50 already said it might be a wrap. On top of that, Rick Ross can't legally make a BMF film. 50 still owns the rights, so no matter how slick the moves look on the surface, the damage might already be too deep to fix. But here's the real question. Did Lil Meech actually snake 50 for $10 million? Or was this a setup from day one? Was Big Meech pulling strings from behind bars the whole time? Did he use 50 to build the brand just to flip it later? Was it all one big betrayal disguised as loyalty? Or did 50 just back the wrong one from the very start? We want to hear your take. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you're into stories that pull back the curtain on the chaos. And tap that bell so you never miss a drop. See you in the next one. This story's just getting started.